I'm Randy Wilburn, Director of Education at Zweig Group. Welcome to our online Z-Learning course, Writing Better Texts, Emails, and Letters. This one-hour continuing education program will help you to develop and strengthen your business writing skills. You may not end up writing like John Updike, Danielle Steele, James Pattison, or even our guest Mark Zweig, but you will make sense when you write, and people will thank you for it. We've come up with a range of simple ideas and hacks to make your writing shine. Whether you are sending a text, email, or proposal, we have some ideas that will help you be better at writing, a process that many people fear. Today, we are with Zweig Group Chairman and industry expert Mark Zweig. Mark is the author of several books for the design industry, including Human Resource Management, the complete guidebook for design firms. Mark is also the publisher and editorial writer for the Zweig Letter, a newsletter for the design industry run by Zweig Group continuously since 1992. Mark's writing style is inspiring and fun to read. Let's see if we can learn a thing or two from him today. Hey Mark, thanks for joining us today.
How's it going, Randy? Good to see you.
It's going good. It's good to see you again.
Good.
Wow, can't believe we're recording our third series here, and it should be an exciting one. So let's see how it goes. Let's walk step by step through some simple ways that our audience of engineers and architects can develop and fine-tune their writing skills.
Sounds good to me. Where do you want to start, man?
Well, I think what I'd like to do is, when it comes to writing something, anything for that matter, you think it's important to know who you're writing to or know your audience.
Absolutely. I mean, how else can you be appropriate? You got to know them. You got to understand them. You need to know their prejudices. You need to know their orientation. I mean, all these things affect how you write and what you put down on paper to somebody.
Okay. I mean, it's almost like when you speak, sometimes if you're speaking to a group, you need to know who you're speaking to. It's the same way. I mean, it's in this form of communication, which is writing, you have to really consider your audience.
Exactly. I mean, it just makes sense. If your audience is a highly educated group of technical people from one particular discipline, for example,
right,
you wouldn't write the same way to them that you would a group of high school freshmen.
Right.
They're different. They've
Yeah.
got a different view. They've got a different understanding of things. They've got a different background.
Yeah.
So sure, know that. I think it's critical. It's the first place to start.
Okay. All right. You also think it's a good idea to determine who should be included in your communications. Do you make any distinctions between when you're communicating via email, when you're communicating with a letter to a client, or maybe our proposal writing? I mean, how do you make those distinctions?
Well, I mean, I think people don't really think about who should be included.
Okay.
If you take a project report, for example, a project status report, many times the conventional wisdom is I will include whoever it is that I deal with on a day-to-day basis in my client's organization.
Yep.
On the project status report.
Okay.
Seems to make sense until there's a problem. Okay. One day when they don't give you certain information you need, or somebody doesn't do something that they need, and it's now affecting your performance on the project, meaning maybe the schedule's in jeopardy or the budget's going out of control or whatever because of something that's happening at the client's end. So now you need to basically rat out the person that you're dealing with on a daily basis because they're responsible for this
Right.
problem.
Yeah.
Okay. And so now you include their boss. Well, you just alienated the person, right away who you're dealing with, and they're going to hate you from that point on.
Right.
So you can't do it like that. What you should have been doing is all along, from the very first report, you should have been including the boss.
Right.
And then when there's a problem, it's just part of the normal course of business that it's evidenced. Okay, and so you're much less likely to alienate your client contact in that case.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's just one of many examples. I think, the other thing you have to consider is some people are just burnt out. I mean, reply to all is so overused. And we have the same problem, as you're well aware of, in our own firm.
Right, right.
But I see it at the University of Arkansas where I teach. It's like, can you meet at 2:30 on Friday? And then it's like, well, I can. Well, I can't. Well, I could, except my daughter's got to go to the doctor. I mean, it's like, okay, just respond to whoever the damn sender is.
Yeah.
Don't copy, And you see this with clients. It's like we're trying to arrange a meeting, and there's maybe 5 or 6 on our side and of the deal, and they're only going to meet or have a call with one person on our team, and yet all of us have to see the 17 emails that go back and forth to set up the one call with one person on our team.
Mm-hmm.
That wastes a lot of time, and I think it's crazy.
Well, and you bring up a good point there, and I certainly something I would love to just kind of delve into a little bit more is determining who should, like you said, in determining who should actually get the communication that you're sending out. This reply all has kind of killed people over and over again. What would be?
I wonder how much productivity is lost to reply.
Just
all.
reply all.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
exactly.
has to be like a multi-billion-dollar problem, of time wasting.
Well,
deleting the replies to all.
they have done some studies on the productivity of just checking your email in general, right? And so a lot of times the email that you're checking will include some email exchanges that are reply all, where you're thinking in the back of your mind, I probably could have been left out of this communication easily.
Yes.
And we see it all the time. We'll send a message
we
to a
do.
principal at a firm, and we'll communicate with them, and I'll say specifically, hey, I'd like to connect with you so you and I can speak, and then he'll still reply all to everyone,
Yes.
even though I
It's
was
maddening.
basically saying you and I should speak.
Right.
So it tells me two things. Either he's rushing to respond and he's not really reading what I'm writing in
Which
the
is
first place,
possible,
which
yeah.
is possible,
Right.
or he just doesn't care.
Yeah.
It just
Or he's trying to show somebody else that he's doing his job.
yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that's another possibility. I think
Yeah.
that's a big part of the reply to all problem. Is I want to show other people, like I want to show my boss that I care about Sue, so I reply to all
Right.
and thank Sue
Yeah.
in front of everybody.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That says I'm a good team player. And, so I think a lot of, there's so many problems with it, but companies really need to discuss it and work on this. I mean, who is going to get the communication? Are we going to the right person?
Yeah.
It's frequently a problem.
And you bring up a good point. I'm obviously, we try to practice what we preach at Zweig Group, but I think it's important. We try. I think it's important to set some standards. And I can remember not too long ago, maybe in the last year or so, we put out an edict, if you will, of how communication would go down, specifically written communication. So emails, text messaging, things of that nature, especially when going back and forth with a client. Unless a client wants you to email them at 6 o'clock on a Saturday night, it might not be a good idea to do that. But it's the idea that you need to give a framework sometimes to your organization so they know exactly what are the best procedures and protocols to operate with.
Absolutely. I mean, I've had confrontations with people before that work perhaps in another location of our firm and yet decide every single Friday at 6:30 to start emailing
Right.
or texting.
Yeah.
It's like, I've been here all day long, okay? I just got my kids, and now is when you want to choose to interact with me. And it's just unacceptable. But I mean, that's another matter in itself, is the timing of these communications. But you got to get the right person. I think a lot of times, too, in a selling situation, we're not aiming high enough in the organization. Right. So when we write those proposals, maybe we do need to include some people at a higher level than perhaps who we're dealing with. Yeah. So they're aware that we're talking with somebody in their organization about doing work. Or maybe it's somebody that can influence the process for us that we know is at a higher level.